So shit. So I didn't got back into documenting stuff. So I'm out here doing this. I'm out here doing this brief live today because because I'm finna go back inside and get to some things. But I like to document things. And so I just had a conversation with my daughter, and she was like confirming a lot of things that I was thinking. I'm getting ready to, I want to help my mother publish her first book, and I also want to publish my second book. So, the guy that I talked about in the video, the last video, we have been seeing each other ever since. We saw each other again today. Uh, he's met my father. Um, he's been to the family home twice. He's been to my father's house twice. And yeah, he's been to my family's house twice. My dad like him, my stepmama like him, you know. And that's just so cute, like, but the conversation we was having today, so the conversation really went in because we were sitting outside talking, and I think he's struggling with me being a sex change. Like, I think that's, we met outside of a gay bar. So the first day we met each other, I was just like, it is what it is. Like, nigga, we was outside of a gay bar. Nigga, I know you're not about to play in my face. Like, but he was like, he legit didn't know that I was trans. And I was like, okay, I get it. I get you not knowing. Um, but I told him really, really fast. And because I had a sex change, he was comfortable with it. And he's like, um, so I'm telling him, so we talking about wholeness. We talking about being bisexual because I told him I was bisexual. And so we talking about wholeness and we talking about being bisexual. And he's like, I think that some people aren't bisexual. I don't think that everybody is bisexual. So I wanted to argue him down about it because, me personally, I think that if we were living in a balanced society, I think more people would be comfortable with admitting that they're bisexual. I think that it's normal to be bisexual. I don't think that there's anything wrong with being bisexual. But when he said, I don't think that everybody is bisexual. I don't think that every man likes dick and pussy, and I don't think that every woman likes pussy and dick. So I didn't argue with him. I accepted that. I was like, okay. So I was like, well, what do you pray to? And he was like, he already know how I think because like we was on the phone for 5 hours last night. No, we was on the phone for 3 hours last night. That's the air conditioner kicking back on. But we was on the phone for 3 hours last night, and And 2 days after we hooked up, we stayed on the phone talking to each other for like 5 hours. So we've had a lot of deep ass conversations because we always on the phone, and when we're on the phone for hours and hours at a time. So he knows how I think, he knows what my spiritual beliefs are, and he tells me that I'm a very deep thinker. So I said, what do you believe in? And so I said, what do you believe in? And he was like, I believe in God. I believe in the spirit. I believe in the energy. I believe in the Father. So I was like, so you homo spiritual? So and he was looking at me because he was already shocked that I didn't argue with him about the bisexual thing. Because at first I was about to defend, why you judging a person by what's between their legs when really that's not my fight, that's not my argument anymore. So I said, but I was about to go there, like, why you judging a person by what's between their legs? Why don't you judge them by energy? And so he was like, so it was a lot of things that was said, but I'm gonna give y'all the cliff notes because I don't want to be on here forever. But I do want to document the conversation that we had today because I am a scholarly person. I may not be an academic person, but I do like to have experiences that help me to learn or to document what I'm learning from personal experience. That's the scholarly part of me, liking to present information, to unpack it, to learn from it, to document it. Like, that's my scholarly side. So that's what I use my YouTube platform for. I use it to document as I'm coming into conscious and as I'm learning more things, and y'all are able to go on this journey with me. I don't know what y'all using this information for. That's between you and the ancestors and the gods and goddesses you serving. But I know why I'm putting it out here. I'm putting it out here because I want people to be able to learn from my experiences, because I want to learn from other people's experiences. Like, I don't want to have to go through everything to learn. Like, I want to be able to look at your life and say, oh, okay, oh, all right. But anyway, so he was like, so I said, so you're homo spiritual? He was like, I'm a homo sapien too. And I said, so you're homo? So he was like, why you just saying the word homo? Why you not saying the whole, like, why you just saying homo? Why you not saying homo sapien? Like, why you not saying homo sapien? Why you not saying homo? Why you not saying homo spiritual? Why you not saying the whole thing? So I was like, but you're a homo though. So, like, you're a homo spiritual, because, so basically you want to have sex with the female form, you want to penetrate and have intimacy, you want to have sexual intimacy with the female form, but you want to have a spiritual connection with men. You want to have a bond with men that is not about sex. And I find that interesting because when you think about it, that's how it is in homosexual relationships, even with women who like men or women who are attracted to men. They want to have physical relationships with men, but they want to have that spiritual relationship with women. And it was just interesting because I called him a halfling, you know. And I explained it to him. I was like, I'm the earth. I would be the earth, the whole earth, because I'm not a halfling, I'm a whole one. So I'm earth, I'm round, and you're the crescent moon. And it was so funny because he has a college education. He's Latinx, but he has a college education, and so um, he understands different backgrounds. And he said in some religions there are relationships between the crescent moon and the earth, and the crescent moon is recognized as a masculine energy, and the earth is of course representative of Mother Earth. And so um the earth is whole, it's round, you know what I'm saying? And then the moon can be half because it's the crescent, which also the crescent can be shaped like a phallus. Y'all not getting into this scientifically. So, and they always say the man in the moon. They'll never say the man the whole moon. They always say the man in the moon, like the man is a portion of the moon. So, journey with me now. So he's the little crescent, and he's getting ready to come into this round space. The crescent is coming into this round space I need, and creation is happening. Let me stop. But we was having a good ass conversation. So I wanted to get mad at him for his belief though, because but this is what I think about. Why am I gonna get mad at you for how you think? Like, even though I may not agree with what you thinking, I want you to feel comfortable talking to me. Cause literally, I was talking to a being who was born with a womb the other day, who's close to my family, and she recently got saved, and you know she's a hard down Christian. I mean, hard down Christian. And she said what she said. She believed what she believed. She talked about Jesus, and I sat there and I listened. I didn't argue because I know how important people's faith is to them. I know how important people's spirituality is to them, and I see Jesus making a difference in your life. I see Jesus working in your life. If Jesus is working for you, then I'm happy Jesus is working. I have my thoughts. I'm gonna get on my platform and I'm gonna say what I think. But I'm always going to respect people who are being vulnerable enough to share with me. I'm not just going to attack you and say, oh, yeah, that's wrong. You shouldn't think like that. Oh, that I'm not going to do that to you. I may not agree with you, but I'm not going to attack you and tell you that your belief is wrong, because then what I'm saying is I don't want to hear your thought process. I don't care how you think. I don't have capacity for you. I don't want to be that person. That's not my role. That's not my legacy. That's not my platform. My platform is not to silence you. But boo, if I can't get a word in edgewise and you don't want to hear what I have to say, then we cannot share space. If I'm going to make space for you and I'm going to listen to you, then we're going to listen to each other. You're not just going to tell me what you believe and what you think it is, and I'm going to sit here and we always just going to listen to what you think it is and what you believe. No, we're not going to do that. I could sit up here and listen to you talk to me about Satan. That's how much capacity I have. You could talk to me about whatever it is that you believe, and I'm going to have capacity for you. But do you have capacity for me? That's the question. When I get ready to share with you how I think and what I feel, can you listen to it? Can you hear me? That's when we run into snafus. That's when we run into boo-boos. And what I love about him is he is an amazing listener. He is an amazing, he does a lot of things good. And the relationship is responsible. It's protected. It's what I know that the ancestors have ordained this moment from me, because I'm learning from it, like sitting out and having conversations with him and engaging in dialogue and seeing how people are receiving us in public spaces and how we engage with each other is teaching me so much, because I think that he is a Christian, and I've literally been saying that I would not date a Christian. but he's able to hear and respect my my spirituality. He respects my spirituality. He knows everything. He knows about my status. He knows everything that I'm dealing with. He knows all the tea. We literally have been on the phone time, and he listens. He's a good listener. And that is so important to me. I have to listen to him. And I'm not gonna lie, some things he say, because he really do think like a man. He really does. And you have to respect the mindset of, because this is how we've been groomed culturally, to want to be physical with one sex and to want to be spiritual with the other sex. This is how you're conditioned in a binary cis, in a binary heterosexual patriarchal society. The conditioning is you physically cohabitate with one, and this is like the way we understand the binary is that Eve came from Adam's rib. So in a sense, Adam is masturbating, because if Eve your rib, then Eve is you. And so if Eve is you, then in a way you masturbating. You fucking yourself. Eve don't have her own belief, her own idea. Eve believe what Adam believe, because Eve is Adam. And Adam believe in the man. Adam was the first. Adam was the man. This is the Bible's teaching. We know that my spirituality is different. But if you were to delve into that, because I could still use the male side of my brain. I still know how it works. I still know the logic. You know what people would think who see life through that lens. Like Eve is literally masturbation. Eve's thought process, the way Eve see the world. Hold on. Yeah, Eve's thought process, the way Eve see the world. Eve see the world through a man's eyes, because Eve is a piece of the man. And so there Eve is, the helpmate, meant to sexually please Adam, and Adam having all of these spiritual relationships with the men, with God. It's a relationship that's not about sex. It's a relationship that's not about the physical. It's a relationship that has nothing to do with touch. And I couldn't get mad at him because I'm whole. And so I can offer a relationship without sex. Because that's what I do with my YouTube platform. That's what I do with Instagram. That's what I do. I know how to have a relationship that isn't physical. I know how to have I am a spiritual being. That's why I do these lives. That's why I put this stuff out here. Because I'm processing and understanding what's going on in, you understand what I'm saying? So he can get that connection with me, and he can also get that connection. But I don't want I don't want one to supersede the other. Like, I enjoy the physical aspects of our relationship, but I don't want to lose the spiritual. And I also want it to be understood that there are feminine beings who are born with wombs that you can have a spiritual connection with. And you don't have to not like them sexually, because I think that's what gay men do with women. I think gay men have spiritual relationships with women. But I think it's a beautiful thing when that becomes a dance, when it's not so much girls over here, boys over here. I'm gonna come over here to get this particular thing, and then I'm gonna go back over here for this. I think it'll be beautiful when it becomes more of a dance versus a transactional thing. Like, I think that binary makes things, the binary system makes things very transactional. It makes things very, I'll see you when I'm coming to get that. Versus we're dancing. And in a dance, you might switch partners for a second. And then y'all gonna come back to each other. You gonna be moving, dancing. It's not transactional. It's more of a dance. It's like, okay, I'll be back. I'm going over here for a second. Like, I think that that's the world that I want to live in. Like, I want the energy to flow like a dance versus transactional and being stored up. You know what I'm saying? And you can't access it. Like, that's what the binary does in my experience. That's how the binary has been. It's been transactional. It's felt like, I think that's why capitalism is able to do what it does, because of what it does to us mentally. We see ourselves. I have been a vegan. I've been a person who did not eat meat. I've been a person who fasted. So vegans, people who calling themselves vegans, they can't come and try to talk to me crazy and stuff, like, because I've given up meat for 9 months. I've done that. But now I understand spiritually that something always has to die so you can live. Something's always being sacrificed so that we can live. When you spray that food for them vegans to eat, when they spray them pesticides on that food, insects are being killed. The life that live in that garden is being killed for your fruits and vegetables. So it's always something dying so we could live. And in this reality, there are a few things that's free. Sometimes water free, sometimes air free. Air free for right now. But we ain't no different than cattle. We ain't no different than that stuff we go and buy in the store. It's a barcode. Like, people literally be talking. People be literally talking about the mark of the beast. Talking about the mark of the beast, and talking about, we living in the last days. They about to put the barcode in us. They about to give us the mark of the beast. Bitch, we never not had it. Bitch, if you live in the Matrix, you have a social security number. You have a birth certificate. You have a state ID, a driver's license. That's your barcode at the grocery store. You know how if something get lost, it's insured. You can get insurance on it through that number that's on the barcode. When we kick the bucket, they motherfucking use them barcodes on their social security and on that birth certificate, and that's your, from the moment of our birth in hospitals, we are property of the government. And it becomes more clear when you go to prison. Like, they get bold with it when you go to prison. And the crazy thing is, you have so many people that be saying, send them to jail, send them to jail, send them to jail, want to see people go to jail. And a lot of times, the people who want to see you go to jail are people who have never spent time in jail. It's a bitch who ain't never been to jail before in their life, a nigga who ain't never seen the inside of a jail, them being blessed and graced and never had to set foot inside a jail, that will wish jail time on you so quickly. Never been inside, but will wish jail time on you quickly. And like I said in another video, rehabilitation is not happening up in here. You ain't doing nothing but learning how to become a better criminal. But anyway, child, that wasn't the nature of the video. The nature of the video was um, just learning how to have capacity to hear people, even when you have a different thought process. You know, me and him have been, it's been giving push and pull energy. It's been giving, I don't want to say yin and yang because I feel like I could be very much yin and yang myself, but I do feel like if yang was masculine energy, I think that his yang would be dominant, and if yin was feminine energy, I think that my yin would be dominant. But I definitely think my yang is working with his yin. Like, we just, it's a little bit of balance. It's a dance. It is a dance that's happening. It's give and take. It's not transactional. Like, we literally, when we be around each other, the whole time we be around each other, we keep each other, like, either it's physical or it's spiritual. We dance in between physical and spiritual. Like, if we ain't touching on each other, we challenging each other mentally. We having a conversation that is intriguing so much that we're not thinking about sex. And then it goes back to the physical, and then it goes back to the spiritual, and then it goes. And I live for that. I love that. I live for that. So we talked about some things last night. We talked about some things last night that was driving and plucking me, and I was like, ugh. I was plucked. I was a little aggravated. I was ready to hang up. Like, I was like, ugh, I'm sleepy. You're not coming over to fuck me. Like, what are we doing? Why are we still talking on the phone? Like, I was going through that. Like, and I'm not saying that's right, but I'm just being honest about where I was. I was like, this is not gonna end in dick. I've been talking to you on the phone for 2 hours and you're not coming. I'm sleepy. I'm tired of talking. I'm being so fucking honest. But yeah, but then I got through it, you know, and I heard him and I was patient and I listened and you know, just allow him to unpack. And then the next thing you know, I was back engaged in the conversation and I was cool with not, you know, having. I was cool with just talking. And I would have just been cool with just talking today. But that's not what happened. I would have been cool with just talking today. Baby, I had cooked too. Oh, baby, honey. I had made some fried calamari. And I made some collard greens with like I did like a little stew down collard green with some bell peppers and onions and tomato. And you know, I had seasoned it up and used some coconut oil and I had made some rice. So it was like a little Caribbean, Latin, Jamaican, Louisiana type mix. Like I had brought multiple cultures together. You know what I'm saying? I did a little bit of Louisiana, a little bit of Jamaica, a little bit of South Africa. Yeah, honey, I had felt it like I was just like weaving cultures together. You know, it was a weaving of sorts. And he was like, "You can't cook." He was like, "You can't cook." And at first I thought he didn't want to eat my food because he was being shady. But he had ate 3 plates before he came over because he had went to a buffet. And I was like, "Baby, I'm 46 years old. I'm from Louisiana, and you're coming over to spend the day. You didn't think I was gonna cook? I'm 46. I'm from Louisiana. And you're coming to spend the day over. And you didn't think that I was going. Put that in your mental Rolodex. I'm one of them kind. I'm going to cook. I'm not. You're not finna be by my house all day long. And I'm not finna cook. Child, I fixed him a plate. I fixed my daddy a plate. Child, my daddy got my leftovers because I cook, according to portion. Because I'm used to being by myself. So, I don't cook big old pots of food and stuff because that's another way that I manage, my weight. So I eat smaller portions and I cook smaller portions. I don't cook a lot of food. I don't just be cooking and have food sitting around. I cook just enough. It's just enough. I cook just enough for me to get a meal for right there, because I might want to taper it off and eat something lighter later on. But I might not want to have the same thing for dinner. But I don't really cook to have leftovers. So I had made enough to get me dinner because this was at lunch, and but my daddy wanted a plate, so I fixed my daddy a plate. And do you know what a beautiful experience that is? Like, I am 46 years old, and as a black, trans, indigenous, queer being, this is the first time I could say that I had an experience where I ain't gonna say this is the first time I've been around my daddy and a man, but what makes it different is that, we're in the family home. This was my grandmother's home, and this was the home, because I was conceived in Oklahoma. I was conceived at Job Corps in Oklahoma, and the house that I'm at now was the house that I was nursed inside my mother's womb. Like, this is where they, the family all would rub on her belly when I was in her belly. They turned this garage area that I'm gonna be sleeping in into the room because I was coming. So they turned part of the house, made it into look like a room because she was pregnant with me. And they gave that to my mama and daddy. And that's the room that I was being loved on and loved in. And I'm gonna be living in that like this is gonna be my space. Like this is gonna be my space. My grandmother's ashes in the backyard. I never got a chance to meet her in real life. I saw a picture of her, but I never got a chance to meet her. And so this is such a beautiful journey for me. And the first time, because I've been here multiple times and never had an intimate physical relationship with anybody. I started coming back here. The first video that I did while I was here is actually here. It's the video that I did about why I had my orchiectomy, and I have I think I have my hair straight in a ponytail, and I'm sitting on the bed. I was at my auntie house when I did that video. That was the first time I reunited with them. That was the first time that I reunited when I talked about my orchiectomy, and that video got a few thousand views. So a lot of y'all watched that, but yeah, that was when I started coming back up here. And all the times I came up here, I never hooked up with nobody. Since 2013. Never hooked up with nobody. Never. 2013, 2014. And I done been up here multiple, I done been up here a lot of times. Like, I come see my family. Like, my cousin was reading me. She was like, you only come once a year. But when I come, I stay. Like, I don't come and just be here for 2 or 3 days. Like, I'll come and stay a week or a month or 2 weeks. Like now I'm here for a month. And I want to start being here more. But I be, I'm a whole lay limb, lay lurk. So I be trying to make time for my mama and my daddy. So I be having to move around, hell. Girl, a black indigenous girl be moving around, honey. Because I be trying to make time. Like, I'll complain and talk my shit, about my mommy and my daddy and stuff. But baby, I love my family. You know, I love them. It's you gotta love people even when it's hard. You know, I say this. I done started saying this more often than not. We'll complain about, you know, we gotta guard our peace and, you know, be like, I ain't got capacity for this. I don't have no concern for that. I don't have no compassion for that. And then you'll wonder why you don't have no community. Why don't nobody want to be bothered with you? You ain't got no capacity, you ain't got no concern, and you ain't got no compassion. But then you wonder why you ain't got no community. And you don't have no capacity for people like so many of us, we feel like we know everything. This is the thing that I don't like about us black people. Cause I have to check myself on that. You know, yeah, I know they told us we were slaves and they called us monkeys and that be having us in our feelings. And so that trauma, we feel like we always got to let people know who we is and we always got to brag on what we done and what we done accomplished and da da da. I have to check myself on this because I do this shit all the time. Bitch, I remember feeling like nothing because my skin was dark. I remember feeling less than because I didn't give you the curly, the wet and wavy hair and the small nose and the perfect teeth, and I didn't look like society, you know, something society would want to feature. I remember being in my feelings because of that and being invalidated and feeling overlooked and unheard and ignored and invisible. I remember that. And so I felt like I had to tap dance a little harder, smile a little harder, play nice, work harder. I was getting to it. I was getting to it. Just extra. Just extra. Motherfuckers think when you don't feel like doing all of that stuff, you lazy. No, bitch, I'm tired. Bitch, I'm not lazy. Bitch, I'm tired. Fuck. Bitch, I've been tap dancing. All my life I had to tap dance. Bitch, I was tap dancing at childhood, bitch. Getting up in front of the church. I'd like to give an honor to God, the Father, the head of my life. Bitch, I was tap dancing before I knew what tap dancing was, bitch. Bitch, I was groomed to tap dance, bitch. First giving honor to God, the head of my life, the bishop, the pastor, the first lady. We didn't even know. We didn't know what we was. We didn't even. We was little. We was children, and they was training us to kiss folk ass. It was training us. We was getting brought up. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. And I still do it. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I do it because I don't want to have no problems. I want shit to go exactly the way I want it to go. And people been trained to need that respect. Do I agree with that? Do I like for motherfuckers to yes ma'am and yes sir me? I don't need it. I don't need the yes ma'ams or the yes sirs. I don't need none of that. Long as you talk to me with kindness, I don't need you to yes ma'am me. I don't need none of that. Just talk to me with kindness and thoughtfulness. But I will say it. If I'm on the phone with somebody and I'm trying to get something done and I don't feel like having, yes ma'am. Yes ma'am. Yes sir. Yes, thank you sir. Yes sir. I don't have the time. I don't have time to be sitting up here arguing. I want you to feel comfortable, and a lot of people have. I want you to feel cozy in your skin. So I'm gonna tell you what you've been trained to appreciate. I ain't got time to be your teacher in this moment. I don't have the capacity. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. But I don't require that. I don't require to be talked to like that. I just want you to talk to me thoughtfully and talk to me with respect. I think there's a lot of things that we need to review about the binary, you know. And I would love to have a small colony, you know, a tribe, you know, a community in which we could work on doing this type of thing, you know, like just figuring it out. Like that's a vision for me. That's a vision for me. Like it really is. I want to be able to be amongst the people and the community. I don't want to be a mainstream person because I think that mainstream is, this is how I see mainstream. This is how I see the world. I see, like, say for example, if you take a rose and the rose start rotting, so you got all of the top part is dead, but then the ones that's not mainstream, so you see everything that's on the rose, you see everything that's on the head, but everything that's going on inside of it, you know, like the little things that's not dead yet, that's still capable of, you know, being pollinated and traveling somewhere else and creating life or nurturing life somewhere else. But I feel like the whole plant look like it's just done died, but it's still life in it. And that's how I feel about us. That stuff you can't see, but everything we see, a lot of the things that we see in mainstream is pretty much just dead. It's just it what fruit could it potentially bear, like long term? Like a lot of um a lot of the stuff that we watch is purely about entertainment. You know, it's not about preparing us um for a lot of things that I'm certain are around the corner. Like I don't want to be one of those people who get on the internet and like feel like I gotta scare people, you know, like they did that in the church, you know, they prophesied destruction and they prophesied, you know, they prophesied death and punishment and wrath, you know, to keep people in line. Like I don't see it like that, but I do feel like there are things that are on the horizon that we need to be constantly preparing ourselves for. That's the short of it. Like have conversations not meant to necessarily scare people, to get them to get in line and to move like you want them to move, to kind of herd them, like use language to herd people the way you want them to go, because you preaching to them about wrath and you preaching to them about punishment. Like that's not the faith that I want to celebrate or that I want to uplift. I think that people can be self-governing, but it's you're teaching people in a way where you're preparing them. Like, and I don't feel like politics is the yeah, it's really fear. Like people are not choosing to connect with it, to resonate with it, to believe in it, to know it to be true. People are responding out of fear, and I don't want to, you know, um, embody or celebrate or be the culture bearer for a faith that has people living in fear. I don't want to cultivate fear. I do want to cultivate awareness, and I think with awareness comes responsibility. It comes service. You know, like when you are aware and you have knowledge, you have a responsibility. And that responsibility could be, you know what, I'm going to live off the grid and I ain't fucking with nobody. But you still gonna have to coexist with nature. And so you know, you're sovereign then, because now you're contending with nature. And me and him talked about this today, and we both agreed on it. Like, the ones living in nature, we look at them like savages, but the ones living in nature, they don't have no social security card. They don't have no birth certificate. They're not beholden to the government. But you do have to have enough sense to be able to live in nature. And I don't think that nature is like we're trained to see it as. I think when you're in nature and you moving around nature recklessly, you know, you scare people and you make them panic. You know, like, just like you could scare a person by walking up on them, you know, you could scare a snake by walking up on it. You not paying attention and you just stomping through the woods. And you know, you ain't looking down, you ain't looking around, you just, I can't see it, it ain't standing upright, looking me in my face. And you motherfucking bumbling and stomping through the woods, and you accidentally come close to stepping on it. I could see it striking you to protect itself. And you just thinking, oh, this snake bit me, oh, I'm about to kill this snake. But literally, you was bumbling through this. They was living here. They was taking up space here. This was their home, and you just came through recklessly, with no consideration for how you was moving. You was moving recklessly. Nature is not a place to move recklessly. It's a place to observe, to be present. You know, sometimes I have me a little sticks just so I could, like, move my stick around in the ground in front of me. That's why they used to have sticks a lot back in the day, honey, because they was maneuvering through nature. And so you had that stick to go before you and move around in that ground, honey. And if something pop up or something jump up, then that stick will see it first. And if it strike, it's gonna strike that stick. And then it might run. You know, hopefully you wouldn't have to kill it. But hey, say a prayer. That's all I could say. Pray. Pray on. Let me stop. Pray on. Let me stop. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do, you know. But hopefully it wouldn't go like that, you know. You'd be able to be like, child, not today. Now I know you ain't trying to play with me like that now. I ain't trying to harm you, you ain't trying to harm me. I'ma be over here in my corner and you be over there in yourn, you feel me? But I mean, like, the ones that's living in the woods, baby, they ain't got the answer to nobody but nature. And they just gotta have an agreement out there with nature. And I think, you know, I know if I would have been brought up in nature, I would have been like if I would have just been brought up in nature, brought up, like, we wouldn't have been doing the whole society thing, and I would have came up in the woods. I think I would have done some dumb stuff as a child. You know, I think I probably would have harmed some animals as a child. I'm sure if I wouldn't have been read that Bible and I would have been taught a different story about animals, though, I probably wouldn't have, you know, been harmful towards animals. And I think I would have had animals that would have been my friend. Because I can remember when I was little, I used to have a stray cat that used to come up in my house all the time. Her name was Rosie. That was my first cat. And she used to come up in my house and hide up under my bed. And I used to let her in all the time. She was so nice. Me and her got along good. She was a stray cat though. She never had been housed. She used to come up in my house and sleep up under my bed and all that. And that was before I really got into the Bible. Like, that was when I was really, really young. I think the more that I got into the Bible, because of the way the stories was told, it was like, y'all know I'm looking around because there's a lot of, like, little insects and bugs and stuff crawling around out here. So I'm just trying to be observant of my surroundings. But Yeah, when I got more into the Bible, I started getting into, the whole sacrificing the rams and the goats, and child, my mind just got warped a little bit. Like I was like, I was on some kill sacrifice. I was, getting little crawfish and sacrificing them to God, and shrimp and caterpillars and snails, and child, I was always somewhere trying to sacrifice something on a. Girl, I used to have a little tree stump in my yard, and I used to have a brick, and I used to like, cause I was reading it, because when I started reading the Bible, I was reading it from front to back, honey. And baby, that Old Testament, honey, I was in that Old Testament for a minute, and baby, I used to take me a little brick and smash it on the rock and say, in the name of Jesus, in the name of God, in the God of Abraham. I used to do all that, girl. I was a mess when I was a child. Child, I was sacrificing stuff on a rock and squashing and squeezing stuff. That's why nobody can tell me that, that Bible has taught me to be at odds and in opposition with a lot of things. Like even and this is stuff that we don't unpack from our childhood. Like these are things that we don't talk about, how we were being programmed to have an oppressive um energy, where we just kind of like came in and just did what we wanted to do to things. Like we commodified things. We had a transactional spirit, with our environment. Like we were programmed through our spirituality to just have like that, not so much a dance, bitch, this mine, and I'm gonna do what I want to do with it. I'm a sacrifice. I'm gonna do whatever I want to do with it. This is mine. This is my possession. I conquered you. I win. This for me. I'm gonna do what I want to do with it. All of that energy, not understanding the cosmic dance. Ooh, you better say that. You better say that. Unlearning the Cain and embracing the Abel. And see, understanding that, I think the reason why Abel got killed is because they wanted that to be the lesson. Don't be Abel. Yeah, Abel was a good person, but Abel is not the one that's going to Abel is not the one that's going to prosper. There was a message in that. There was a message. There was a programming in that, like teaching us, showing us what kind of supreme God. That was when we know, when Abel was killed. When Abel was killed, and Cain's offspring was allowed to be the seed that would populate the earth, because he was marked so he couldn't be killed, and his children would be the ones to populate the earth. And then they told us that Satan had dominion over the earth. That was all the signs of slavery and hell. That was all the signs of what type of projects and what type of experiments will go on this planet. And I don't think that the God who granted permission for this to happen was the supreme one. I think it was a part of a collective. That's why even in that book it says, let us go down and make man in our image. Let us go down and confuse their tongues. So it's a collective conscious. And they're all having this mind, is having this conversation. And there's this one entity or one energy that's approving certain things, and the rest of consciousness is like they can see a different aspect of what's happening because everybody is looking at this from angles. Consciousness is and I think that some aspects of consciousness can see more of the picture, and some aspects of consciousness can see less. And so there's part of this collective that is seeing, okay, this can be a move in the game. We'll allow this. This is okay because I can see this outcome. I can see this variable. I can see this angle. I can see the potential for this to happen in that. But I don't think that there was one entity that was making all of the decisions like we think it is. There's one entity, like these these beings are probably like a collective of of an even of an even greater consciousness. Like they're like y'all know we expects in this. Y'all know we dust in this. Y'all know we dust. But for me, I think the most important thing is about connecting to those most ancient parts of ourselves, you know, cause I think it's possible to fade away. I think it's possible to just fade away. I think that when you're in a certain level of consciousness and you're not growing and you're not choosing to grow and you're not choosing to know anymore and you're not choosing to understand anymore, I think you could go through a season of dormancy. You know, I think you could go through a season where you could become like a rock, or you could become like a stone, or you could just, you know. So I think and vibration doesn't go through you. And I'm not saying that over time that vibration or that energy can't return. But I don't want to be a rock in my next incarnation. I'm not putting down a rock. I'm not. Bless the rock. Bless the rocks. Bless the grass. Bless the dirt. I'm so thankful for all of it. But that's not what I want to reincarnate into. And so I feel like when we allow ourselves to lose consciousness and to keep losing consciousness and to keep losing awareness, then consciousness goes dormant within us. And so in our next incarnation, um, we incarnate as something that's dormant, or something that can be manipulated by, like, say for example, gold is amazing, but because gold is not active, gold can be transformed and used and absorbed and used as a currency. But because gold does not have the type of consciousness that allows it to animate, gold doesn't have a way of defending itself. Once gold is exposed, gold can hide, but gold can't defend itself once it's found. And so I'm just tired of being commodified, you know. But I mean, damn, like, they commodifying us and we can't defend ourselves. It's just a slippery slope. Anyway, I've been on here for 59 minutes. I've been on here almost an hour. Let me take my ass inside because I'm supposed to be practicing my lines that I've been talking for an hour. I've been talking for an hour, and I'm not gonna feel like doing my lines when I go in. The more we love and respect ourselves, the less currency we are to them. Come on. Oh, that's so good. That's good. That is good. And you know, that's what I value. I was telling my friend this the other day. I was like, I'm so thankful that the things that I value, most people like I have technological stuff because I like creating art to put on the internet. But you know, when I'm at my most peace is the times when I ain't have nothing but my canvases and my paintbrushes, and I'm inside my house and I'm painting, and I have all of this art that's so valuable to me, but it's not valuable to people who breaking into your house trying to get some money so they could get drugs. Like the things that I value most are worthless to a lot of addicts and a lot of people that just would, you know, like, and I like that that's my mentality and that's my spirit. And somebody, a person, one of my trans brothers, one of my beautiful trans brothers, had offered me the other day to buy one of my paintings, and he saw it and he thought it was beautiful, and he asked me how much for it, and I told him, I said, I'm not gonna sell this painting. Like, this painting is for my family. I wanted to paint it. I wanted to give it to my uncle because my uncle. This is my uncle's on my daddy's side. So on my mama's side, I got two daddies though. You know, I got two daddies I love. I got one daddy that was there and one daddy that planted the seed. But I got two daddies. But I had painted this I painted this painting and it came out really, really beautiful, and I was so excited about it, and they love it, and I framed it for them, and they're putting it on the wall, and I have memories that I live with from my youth, that we had all of this art and culture on the walls, and when I grew up it started to disappear off the walls. Pictures of ancestors, pictures of art that was created by ancestors. We had so much culture. I grew up in a house with culture. I grew up in a house with cultural treasure, because art is culture, you know. And so many of us have accepted mainstream art, but we don't work on our own art and our and developing our own art so that we could be culture bearers for our family. And that's not everybody's job, but I'm thankful that I wanted to be a culture bearer, and I'm thankful that, you know, I didn't step away from art. I came back to it, and I've continued to develop it. And I look at the art that I produce as like hieroglyphs that tell the stories that resonate with the world that I want to see, the world that I want to visualize. And every day when I wake up and I look at these pictures and I look at these stories and I look at these images and I see them in my mind, it's like a picture that plays in my mind all day long. And so it's a way of programming myself. It's a way of my paintings are about reprogramming and reconditioning my thought process and reconditioning my mind, not just accepting programming, but also programming myself, also um feeding myself, you know what I'm saying, tangibly feeding myself, so that if they ever take cell phones from us, if they ever take this technology from us, I have all of these canvases and the books that I've wrote and the pictures that I save in my scrapbooks, and all of this is, that's what culture is. That's how we tell these stories that help to shape the culture and the way we want to experience the world. Amen, a woman that comes naturally within us is priceless. They want us to value the external things more. Whoo, baby, you all right now. All right, you saying some real stuff, Lord Nika and X. Like, you saying some real stuff. Now, the Anti-Fury said they had a question, but they didn't never ask it. And Mahogany She Is said, totally agree. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, so I've really had I really enjoyed this live. Um, I appreciate the feedback. Like I really do. I appreciate the engagement and the things that have been said for this video. This was really good for me to unpack. It helped me spiritually. It helped me to understand a few more things socially. It kind of felt like almost felt like some type of holistic psychology conversation, right? Like, anyway, down for the now that I say cool, keep spinning and turning in, God e Yanko Kalukalo, which means I am a child of God. God is. And if I am, you know you are. Remember to light your candle representing past, present, and future, our Trinity. We love y'all. Be well and take care.